Today on the bench we have a Yaesu FT747, and this radio was shipped in from Tom over in Westchester, Ohio, and the complaint was no receive on any band. So this morning I've been up on the roof repairing a leak due to hurricane conditions, and I decided I'd come in here and just give this a once over because it just arrived about an hour ago. So I thought I'd just go ahead and look at it right quick and just see what all was going on with it. Radio does put out power. It's just that the receive is virtually not there on any band you tune to. So I've got the 8640B connected to it, and we're going to check the receiver. I've also got it tied into our ICO vacuum tube voltmeter, since I do not have an external cyanide meter, and until I replace the dummy load in the IFR 1200, that cyanide meter does not work until that is done. So we'll get right on into it and take a look at it and see what we can see. Have the 8640 dialed in to 14.200, and we'll turn it up to about minus 70 dBm. Because at minus 70 dBm, or about 73 dBm, we should have a single of about S9 on the FT747 according to Yaesu specs. Okay, we'll turn the receiver up. Sure enough, we are not getting any tone at all from the single generator. And if we look up at our meter, you'll see we're at about 0.1 on the AC volt scale. So no receive whatsoever. I'm going to go up and turn the attenuator up until we start hearing some noise. If we hear some noise. It's about minus 40 dBm, we're starting to hear something. And that's at minus 30 dBm. Barely broken the S meter. We're getting the S5 at about minus 10 dBm. And a little over S8. And we're exactly at minus 0 dBm, or 0 dBm. So that's a very, very strong single just to break an S9 on this radio. So the next step is we'll pull the sides off and take a look at it and see what we can find. So to get into the 747, if you notice, there's not hardly any screws that you can see. But you see that little hole, that's a lock. And you push that little pin in and you can slide these side rails off. So let's go ahead and do that. And sometimes they can be a little booger. Okay, that's one. And we have both of them off, and to remove the top cover, there's like a little T-lock right here in the middle, and then there's two downward insertion locks that go into it. Raise up on the back, get your fingers under it, and just flex the top just a little bit. And you slide it right off. You can see right here is that little T-lock that holds it on. And that's how easy it is to get into a 747. So we could go ahead and just dig right into all these circuits and start checking everything. As you can see here, this is our receiver antenna port, and it comes in as a RF choke, but it goes into this pilot lamp, and the pilot lamp is to protect the front end of the radio. Now Yaesu used this in a lot of their radios. If you remember in our FT101 series, we actually have one that's on the outside of the radio. The 747 is located inside. But we come on through here and we go through our receiver relay, and we'll follow right on down, and we'll come in and we'll go through our different filter boards, and right on over and into the front end of our receiver. So first thing we'll do, we're going to look at TO3, 4, and 5. And the reason I want to do that, because I have seen these go way out of whack in these radios. You got to remember, this radio is over 20 years old now. But I have seen these 3 receiver cores go out. Also, another problem could be the relay. But we'll go ahead and check the alignment of these 3 cores to start with and see if that makes any difference. So looking here in our radio, this is the front facing to us. If you look over here right beside the PA compartment, if you look right down here, you'll see the 3 main receiver cores. It's TO3, 4, and 5. And we're going to inject a single and give them a little tune up and see how they work. Now, I don't suggest using anything metallic in these 3 tuning cores. Also, I would not suggest using a ceramic type tuner, because these things will break easily. Now, unlike other radios, these are not glued in, but still they're pretty tight. So I would use a plastic tip to tune those with. Now, my favorite tuning stick to use on these small slugs is taking an old ink pen, and if you search around you can find one that a toothpick will slide up in, and all you do is just sand down the point of it to get what you want to fit the slug. And this toothpick will give before the core breaks, and you can just keep sanding it down and pulling it out and sanding it down until it's no longer enough there left, and pop a new toothpick in, keep right on getting it. Again, those are the 3 cores that we're going to be adjusting. Okay, we're going to turn the volume up just a little bit. And we'll go to TO3. Take that one out. TO4. Take that out. And TO5. There we go. As you can see, we brought it up quite a bit from where it originally was. But as you can see, we should be at minus 73 dBm, and we should have an S9, and we're at minus 60 dBm, and we have about an S4. So That means it looks to me like the front end of the receiver from TO3 to TO5 is working. That means that the RF amps are not blown. If we're able to adjust them, then we know it's something got to be ahead of the receiver that is causing the issue. So, you know, if we're able to come in here and we can adjust T303, 4, and 5 and get gain out of that stage, that means that the front end transistors are working and there's no problem in this area. So we're going to have to backtrack and see what's going on. And since we went to the further stage to find out what was happening, so, and that's how I like to do it. I like to just go on to the further stage and check. Now we're going to go right on back and right up here and come to the beginning of the stage. And the first thing after the antenna port is this lamp, this protection lamp. So what we're going to do now is come down here to our lamp. I'll zoom in on it. You can see it's test point 1 and test point 2, and we're going to ohm across those two terminals and see what we can get. Now, back off. Here's your antenna port coming in right here that feeds the receiver board. And we should get a low ohm reading here. And you can see we're showing an open circuit. So that little bulb sitting right down in there is toast. This is FO1. It is no good. Now, several things can cause that bulb to go out. A direct lightning hit, a static crash, you know, flash from lightning, or someone that was very close and keyed up something high power that got into the front end and took this bulb out. Alright, I got the old bulb removed. And if I zoom in on it a little bit, you can see it has a black color to it. So that tells me it's probably took a flash of some type and it's popped out this protection bulb. And here we have the new bulb installed, and we're ready to test our radio and see what we get. So everything's set just like it was. Only difference is I have the generator on minus 73 dBm. Volume controls identical, frequencies identical, so we'll turn the radio on and see what the meter does. Now as you can see, the volume went way loud on us. And looking here at our S meter, you can see that we are at S9. Well, I got the radio on AM. We're down on the AM band. And the radio is receiving fine on AM. But when I go to a single sideband station, I am not able to tune anybody in. I got just a lot of noise that I can hear talking. Like it sounds like, you know, it almost sounds like you're on AM listening, but we're definitely on we're on lower sideband 40 meters. So we're gonna have to get in here and give a good inspection of the inside of this radio, because you know the thing was just shipped, and you know, bouncing around, something could have come loose, or You know, worst case scenario, whatever went into it could have been lightning. Went into it, took out the bulb, but before it did, it took out something in the filtering section. But before we go worrying about that, we just want to look around inside and see if we see anything. So I've spent the last 10 minutes or so just scanning around, checking connectors, and looking at different things to see if anything comes up, and something caught my eye. See if I can turn the radio so y'all can see it better. Right there, there's a coaxial port with nothing in it. And if we look right here, there's a piece of coax, not plugged into anything. It's just in there flapping around in the breeze. Oh, we can tell the difference right then on the receiver. So now let's see if we can tune in a single side band station. The bands are really terrible today too, and it's very noisy here also. Very weak station back there. Well, when everything fails, there's always a CW band.
This is Alpha 8, X-ray, I will reach the frequency.
And you see, you finally heard someone talking. And just so you can see about the noise here on the band today, we have an S9 of line noise down on the lower bands. It is really terrible, which, you know, it's probably got a lot to do with this storm that's coming through outside also. But I also have a solar farm down the road, and that usually runs about an S3, S4 on some radios. Okay, well, I checked on my Kenwood TS2000 and the 745, and both of them are showing terrible conditions today. So radio checks out fine. You know, biggest culprit was the little bulb had blowed. And we can only imagine, you know, what caused that to happen. And a coax connector jumped out, probably in transport all the way from Ohio. But anyway, I think Tom will enjoy this radio again. And you know, sometimes it's not that hard to go in and find the trouble of a radio. You know, you just got to look at the circuit and go in and see if you can find the culprit that's causing the problem. As you see, this time this was a very simple problem, and just knowing where to go in and look. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the replay. If you did, you know, give me a big old thumbs up. I'd like to hear your comments down below, and we'll catch you next time.